Nowadays, it seems like everybody and their sister is dealing with some sort of fertility issue. If you haven't personally struggled, you probably know someone who has. In a recent report, the World Health Organization has confirmed this statistic, and now we went from 1 in 8 couples dealing with infertility to 1 in 6 couples dealing with infertility. So what is going on? Why do these numbers keep going up? What can you do about it if you are ready to start a family? Hey, I'm Whitney, registered dietitian turned fertility coach, and I help busy women like you get out of the Google spiral and get pregnant. I've helped hundreds of women figure out their fertility and grow the family of their dreams. And today we are going to talk about the 3 biggest issues I see facing couples as they're entering the fertility world and what you can do about it. All right, so the number 1 issue I see is a lack of education. We don't have basic education about our bodies. I don't know about you, but any sex ed I got in high school was all focused on pregnancy prevention, not achieving a pregnancy. And when it came to pregnancy prevention, and I went to a pretty conservative high school, so my experience might not be what everybody else's is. It was all just don't have sex, and it was mostly abstinence based. And so the actual education that I got was just how to avoid it. So when it came time to having kids, I had no idea what I was doing. And I know I'm not the only one. We don't know what's going on with ovulation. We don't really know how to read our periods. We don't know what fertile mucus is. We don't know what progesterone production is and what to look for as signs of fertility. And this lack of education is nationwide. It's worldwide. And because we don't know how to get pregnant, we don't understand our bodies, we don't know how to get pregnant, it is a crash course in conception when you finally decide to grow your family. And it is very, very frustrating because I don't know about you, but when I was ready to have kids, I was ready to already have kids. I didn't want to, take a college course in conception trying to figure it out. I just wanted to have a baby. And so if you're like me, it can be very, very frustrating. And there's a whole mental aspect of it. If you're ready to already have kids and you're ready to take that next step and it's something that you desire, then month after month after month, not having it creates so much anxiety and stress and frustration. And we're going to get into that in a couple talking points. But this stress and frustration, this anxiety, it creates all kinds of hormone problems. And so it's all, when we kind of look back at the whole picture, yes, we're dealing with a lot of hormone things, but we don't understand the signs and symptoms to look for so that we can get these things figured out before you're ready to actually have a baby. What I would like is that we get a better, more comprehensive education and we can notice if there are things that are off or not functioning correctly and work on them before we're ready to have a family. So I see lack of education as one of the main issues facing the fertility world today, and something, that's why I'm here, basically. That's why I'm showing up on YouTube to share my expertise with you fine folks. Drop a comment below. Was your sex education like mine and it was mostly abstinence and avoiding pregnancy based? And then when it came time to have a baby, you're just like, wait, this isn't as easy as what they made it sound like. Comment below and let me know, because I know I'm not the only one who just flew through high school sex ed, coming away with basically nothing. The second issue I see a lot of couples facing is that we're waiting to have kids. It used to be, you graduate out of high school, you get married, and you just start having kids right away. Most of your family growing happens in those early 20s. Nowadays, though, we are financially not prepared to start a family in our early 20s. There are so many things going on right now that make this type of situation, it's just not possible for most of us. It's not ideal for most of us. We have career aspirations that take a lot of education. Most of us are having to get a master's degree now, and it's taking a lot more time. We're not getting out of college until our mid-20s. Don't even get me started on the dating scene and finding a partner. That can be horrendous. Online dating it's like walking the gauntlet. It is very challenging and not always easy to navigate. It can mean that we're having babies into our 30s, into our 40s. And so we are waiting longer to have our family. I am a proponent of having your family when is the right time. I don't think it's a good idea to rush your family when you're not ready financially, mentally, emotionally, if you're not ready in your relationship. I don't think that sprinting into childbearing is the answer, but as we age, we have to take into account that our fertility does get a little bit more complicated. So I joke that just like your skincare routine, your fertility requires a little bit more attention into your 30s, into your 40s. If you're not 20 and trying to get pregnant, your body does require a little bit more attention. And so I put it this way, the crap that you could get away with in your 20s, in your early 20s, it's not going to be the same things that your body is going to be putting up with in your 30s and 40s. It's almost like it wakes up one day and it's just like, no, I'm not going to be chill after having like a boozy bender. Your body is going to put up a bit of a fight. And so we have to take that into account. And since we're having children later, we need to prioritize sleep. We need to prioritize supplements. We need to prioritize diet, boundaries, stress management, all of these things. And I call it the 5 pillars of fertility because these are all the things as we age that we have to be a little bit more diligent about. So food, movement, mindset, environment, and supplements can make a huge impact in preserving your fertility, no matter what age you are, but especially if you're looking to get pregnant after like 35, 40, something like that. Most of the women that I work with are over the age of 35. And some of them are trying to get pregnant naturally. Some of them are going through IVF. This one, I was thinking about it before I started this video because I wanted to share it with you. This client, ooh, if you can't tell, I get a little gushy. She just turned 40 years old and she just did her IVF retrieval and she had such a beautiful experience. We worked together for about 6 months to get everything in line that we could. She was shooting for a natural pregnancy, but IVF was always an option for her. And when we hit that 6-month mark, she knew that she was ready to move forward with it. And her body, when I say her body responded, like her doctor was shocked at how many follicles she got. So leading up to the IVF retrieval, she had 28 growing follicles, and then she ended up having 9 healthy embryos from that retrieval. So she has 9 opportunities and safety depending on what she wants to do in the future. She could choose to continue trying naturally. She could do a transfer if she wants. She has so many options, and that's what I love about this work. I want women to be able to grow a family no matter what. I want them to be able to grow a family when they feel ready, when they find the right partner, if they want to do it by themselves, if they want to focus on their career in their 20s and have a baby later in life, if they want to have a baby earlier. To me, it doesn't matter. I want you to have as many options as possible and take the pressure off of the timing of this, because it can be so overwhelming when you're just looking at the clock and you're like, when am I going to meet the right person, and panicking about when you're going to be able to start your family. And so I just love that story. If you're going to stay on my channel, you're going to hear me talk a lot about my clients. I love it. And the third thing I see facing a lot of couples today is chronic stress. I'm going to do a quick not a deep dive, just a quick overview of chronic stress. Not all stress is bad. We have stress every single day, and it's how we get things done. We have acute stress that helps us hit a deadline. We have things that we need to get done, and that stress helps us get out of bed in the morning. It helps us create the life that we want. Not all stress is bad, but what we do struggle with is chronic stress. It's the stuff that doesn't end. And so our bodies are designed for acute stress, like lion chasing you. You got to run away real fast. That's a stress that your body responds to very fast. Or you're chasing down dinner. Most of us aren't doing that anymore, but it is how our bodies are naturally designed. We are designed to deal with really short periods of stress. What we don't know what to do with is when stress is just 24/7. When I picture like the news cycle, you watch any news channel anymore, it's going to stress you out. There's constant financial issues. There's constant social crises that are happening. There's the daily commute. It's mortgage stuff. It's deadlines at work. It's pressure at work. It's competition at work. There are relationship issues. There are daily stressors that really do a number on our body. And you add fertility on top of that, because if you're trying to get pregnant, it can be quite stressful. And so you add that on top of it. And what can happen is as our brains are perceiving this chronic stress, they can't tell the difference between life-threatening stress and just daily grind stress. And so the hormone cascade, the reactions that our body has are going to be the same whether it is an actual lion chasing us or if it's just our boss riding our back all the time and putting a lot of pressure on us, or us putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. We can't tell the difference. And so over time, your body can't continue to live in that heightened state of arousal, and it shifts how the chemical balances in your brain and in your body, and it can impact ovulation. And so chronic stress is not just limited to, like a stressful job or just a house payment. It is all of it piled up over time. and it just keeps going and it never ends and you never get a break. And that's the kind of stress that really does a number on our fertility. So you have the mental and emotional stress. And if you haven't already seen, I'm sure you've already noticed, I talk a lot with my hands. So we talked a little bit about the mental and emotional stress, but also the toxin stress, that our oxidative stress that our bodies are experiencing too. We have environmental issues that we're dealing with. We have pesticide exposure. We're dealing more with toxin exposure as well, if we get into like the beauty industry and the personal care products and everything. So there are things that our bodies have to manage that we didn't always have to do to quite this degree, I should say. We've always had stress, we've always had exposure to things, but maybe not to this level. And so this is something that I definitely address in my 5 pillars of fertility, because environment is something that is very important and mindset is something that is very important. And those are 2 aspects that can absolutely impact your fertility that a lot of people don't recognize, or if they recognize it, they just brush it under the rug like, oh, relax. It'll happen, or just take a vacation, you'll get pregnant. No, a vacation will not get you pregnant. I'm here to tell you, as a certified food and fertility nerd, that's not how that works. It's the day in, day out, the things you're exposed to, the life you're living. It is not just boiled down into one simple weekend. And so I see chronic stress, and that is mental, physical, and emotional stress, being one of the primary factors to consider if you're trying to get pregnant, and one of the factors that are contributing to the increasing fertility struggles that we're seeing in the population today. So where are you at with your chronic stress? Are you good? Do you feel cool as a cucumber, or are you kind of like me, like it's something that you're trying to manage every day? Is this something you feel like you've got in the bag, or something that you're still struggling with? Comment below and let's talk about it. Fertility is complex, and the 3 issues we talked about today are just scratching the surface. If you want to learn more about how to get your mind and body in baby mode, check out the Find Your Fertile Path quiz right below and get your own personalized quick start plan so you can focus on the fun of baby making and not just the science. That's all for today. If you are a fellow food and fertility nerd, comment below and hit that subscribe button for more. I can't wait to see you in the next video.